What's up, guys? 407 here. Today we're going to be reading some fan fiction. I'm sorry if I don't take this seriously and I laugh. Don't be offended. This is all in good fun. But without further ado, let's jump on in. Hey, Daddy, could you pass the salt? Tyler and Evan's dad both reach for it. Smitty, I think the roast is lovely. Smitty's always there to cut the tension. Cryos, hey, what are you reading? A book about things I love. That's a photo album of me. What a coincidence. That's something they would actually say, though. Smitty, Anthony, tell John that he's an idiot, but I still love him. Panda, tell him yourself. Smitty, we're in a fight. Panda, you're sitting on his lap? What? That's some high school shit right there. Moo, are you a little spoon or a big spoon? Scotty, I'm a knife. Basically from the other room, he's a little spoon. Come on, man. Why do I always have to be the base? Unbelievable. Delirious. Luke, what do you see in Ryan? My dick. Okay. Okay, cartoons, we see you. Santa, aka Minnie. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Kid Louie sent. Delirious. Oh my god, it's Santa. Santa, it's me, Jonathan. Wildcat looks at Evan. You never told him? Vanoss smiling guiltily. But look how happy he is. Delirious sitting on Minnie's lap telling him all he wanted for Christmas. I can't tell if I hate these or if I love these. Smitty, have you ever broken the law? Wildcat, no. Smitty, I have. Wildcat? Minnie, listening in on the conversation while drinking water. Smitty, you know those bowls of candy on Halloween that say take one? Wildcat laughing. Shut the fuck up, dumbass. Smitty, yeah, I fucked a horse once. Smitty spits out water. What? That took such a turn. And I'm turned on. Delirious pointing to a high shelf. Can you reach that for me? Cartoons, so you need me in your life after all. Delirious, I could replace you with a step ladder. Damn, that's rough. You toxic. Terrorizer, if I were a gardener, I'd put our tulips together. Moo. Aww. Smitty, if I were a gardener, you'd be my hoe. Vanoss. Thanks. Nogla, honey bun? Vanoss, yes? Nogla blushing. I meant, would you like one? Vanoss blushing. Oh yeah, sure, sugar. Nogla, yes? Vanoss blushing harder. I just meant, would you like some in your coffee? Nogla, further embarrassed. Oh yeah, sure. Both flustered. Wildcat from a distance. Even I'm getting embarrassed from watching them. Moo, I know exactly what you mean. I knew it. Nogla and Evan. I knew it was meant to be. Delirious, on the roof of Evan's car. Let me talk to you. Cartoons. Evan, drive! Delirious punching through the roof and ripping out the steering wheel.
Let me talk to you!
Oh my god. Well, that got violent very fast. Hi, my name is Scott, but my best friends call me Scotty. You see, I just recently joined the sophomore to seniors years club for gamers. I didn't expect to see a certain athlete here at all. See, the real issue isn't that this guy has bullied me in middle school, but the fact that he's a real goddamn hottie is what bothers me. I thought I was straight. Am I gay now or something? Well, fucking obviously. What did you expect? I'm a gamer for a damn reason. Yep, that's me. But none of my friends know, okay? They can't know, especially with all the gay jokes they make too often. Sometimes I feel they're homophobes or some shit. Speaking of homophobes, the athlete I mentioned earlier is one of the homophobic athlete bullies that I really cannot stand. They pick on any male figure who doesn't do sports, claiming they're gay and they're pussies and they like to take dicks up the ass. I mean, they aren't wrong for me, but still. This is a story, a made-up fan fictional story. It's just super wrong to do that. What's worse is that my friends tease me about this every chance they get. Some friends I have, huh? I can deal with them though because they mean it in good fun. But I think they only do it because my GTA 5 character is a female. Can you blame me? Anyway, the beginning of the year was perfectly fine. I hadn't been teased about being gay ever since the end of middle school, except my friends of course. But now this athlete was joining the gaming club and my friends list. I was about to face hell. Did he remember me from 8th grade or is it just a foggy flashback by now? I wouldn't be surprised if he remembered me as my gay ass self. I was practically the laughingstock of the middle school. Damn. This is depressing. Besides that, this guy is super ripped. When I say ripped, I mean ripped. A perfect six-pack showing through his muscle shirt with his team number on the back and a football imprinted on the front. He was wearing a pair of cloth shorts showing off his muscular calves. I swear to God, if I wasn't drooling before, then I have to be drooling now. But the worst thing is, when I glanced up to look at his face, he was smirking. Smirking! He definitely knows me by now. I'm fucked. I am completely and utterly fucked. But instead of punching me like I thought he would, his voice melted in my ears and sent heat to my groin. Oh boy. His voice is so perfect. I don't think I heard him right. Did he say my name? Scott, that's you, right? You're the gaming club co-leader now, right? I need some help with the game if you don't mind. I couldn't form words for a second. I had to clear my throat and stand straighter to reply without sounding stupid. Yeah, sure. What game is it? Why is this guy so fucking hot? If you couldn't tell, this is supposed to be about Marcel, the jacked athlete. I don't know what to say. I am a gamer and I'm proud. Marcel groaned and threw his controller at the nearby wall. Your Nintendo Switch broken yet, Marcel? Scotty giggled from behind him, rubbing fingers over sore muscles that tensed up on his shoulder blades. Marcel sighed and gripped Scotty's wrist in his grasp. You're massaging the wrong area, Scott. What's the right area, Marcel? Marcel was keen on sleeping the morning away. He had a warm teddy bear cuddled up against his chest, thick, fluffy blankets covering him and his lover, and a free week from work for Christmas break. Besides YouTube, of course. YouTube was without Scotty's thoughts, though. His channel still survived the long Halloween month break and the 2016's downfall of 2 months. It could survive a little bitty week of joy and holiday jolly, but Scotty awoke more active than Marcel did. He turned up and wrapped his arms around Marcel's shoulders instantly. He gave a large, hefty squeeze and pecked Marcel's protesting lips. Geez, Scott, let a man sleep, Marcel groaned in weak, exhausted protest. Your fault for staying up all night past our routine bedtime, motherfucker. Besides, I want to go on a walk. Come with me. You know it's not safe out there alone. Scotty kissed Marcel deeply, their lips combining swiftly and departing within seconds with a trail of warm sensations. Is it cold outside? Scott smiled and nodded. It's snowing. This is basically just me and Chrissy. She's the one that wants me to wake up. Wildcat, why do people think I'm dating Nogla? Nogla, we're not dating. Delirious and I are dating. Delirious confused. We're not dating. Nogla, not yet. That's some creepy shit, Nogla. Calm down there, buddy. Keep it in your pants. Cartoons. I am darkness personified. Wildcat. You sleep surrounded with stuffed animals. Cartoons. Traitor. Are they implying that Wildcat also sleeps with cartoons? How does he know this information? I have many questions. Cartoons. Gets out of the shower with a towel on his hips. Delirious. April Fool's, motherfucker. Sneaks up behind Cartoons, quickly gripping his towel from around his hips, yanking it off. Delirious. Ha ha! Wait. Another towel is there. Cartoons. Always be prepared, bitch. What? It sounds like they could have just been showering together. Why even bother pranking him? I don't understand the logic behind these sometimes. All right, this one is called Basically I Do 407. Should have seen this coming. Marcel got up from his bed and stretched, looking outside his window to see white snowflakes falling outside his window. He smiled as he watched them fall. It brought back old memories from when he was young, like he hasn't seen snow in years, even though he basically froze his ass off every time it did snow in Florida. Wait a second. How often do you think it snows in Florida? It don't. I was there for 21 years. It don't. Marcel got up from his bed and yawned as he walked over to Scott's room down the hall. Scott had been staying with him for about 5 days now. He wanted to visit him for the holidays for once and spend some time with him a little. Marcel opened Scott's door with a small smile as his attention turned to his sleeping friend curled up in his blankets to keep warm. Marcel let out a small sigh before he left the room to make breakfast for them both, knowing that he was the better cook. Whoa, whoa, whoa! You think Marcel is a better cook? You are drunk! I don't think that man knows how to cook, but he will give Scott credit for making baking pancakes with Tyler. He walked downstairs into the kitchen and started to make some pancakes for him and Scott. It only took him like 15 minutes till he got everything ready and got the batter onto the pan to cook. Marcel heard Scott's footsteps behind him, almost like he knew he was cooking, like a dog with a sharp sense. You comparing me to a dog? Huh? Huh? Marcel put 4 pancakes on a plate for himself like he didn't know Scott was behind him and poured syrup on top. He took a bite as he turned around to see Scott eyeing his food as he smiled at Marcel. Marcel rolled his eyes as he handed Scott his own food and made a few more pancakes for himself. He could hear Scott's soft hum as he ate, which made him smile. Surprisingly, he finished his plate faster than Scott's and poured himself some coffee to take up to his own room, feeling Scott's eyes watching him go back upstairs. Marcel let out a small laugh and he slipped on his own coat and gloves. He slipped on his shoes and grabbed his cup again, going back down the stairs to see Scott's washing the dishes from breakfast. They haven't exchanged a single word during the morning yet, which is surprising to Marcel, but didn't let it bother him too much. Marcel slipped out the front door and let the snow fall on top of his head as he stood there with a smile. He felt like a little kid again as he stuck out his tongue to catch the small snowflakes that fell from the gray sky up above. He wished Scott would come out and play with him, but he probably wouldn't want to come out in the cold. Marcel opened the door and set his empty cup back inside, seeing Scott nowhere to be found. He slipped back outside in the cold and picked up some snow that fell to the ground as he heard footsteps close to the door. It was probably a Scott to see where he went to this early. Marcel quickly ran out a little as he seen the door open. Scott stood there zipping up his coat. Marcel laughed as he flung the snowball directly at him. "Marcel!" Scott screamed as he got hit with the cold snow. Marcel laughed even more as he picked up some more when he saw Scott going along with the game. Marcel ran out back behind his house and waited for Scott to follow, which in time he did, calling out Marcel's name to find him. As he turned his back, Marcel flung another one and hid behind the house. Hearing him scream again, Scott quickly ran around the corner to where Marcel was and smashed snow right on his head, laughing nonstop as Marcel tried to get some of the snow out of his hair since it was cold. Marcel picked up some as Scott bent down to grab more and slammed it right to his neck, hearing a high scream for Scott in return. "Fuck me, that's cold," he yelled as he stood up from the ground. Scott stared with a pissed off look at Marcel as he laughed out loud. Scott smirked as he lunged at Marcel, knocking him back into the snow since Marcel weighed a bit less than him. Scott laid across Marcel and pinned him in the snow. Marcel screamed and laughed since his coat was really thin and the snow was all over him. "This is getting hot. Is it getting hot in here? Is it just me?" "Whew! Scott, it's cold. Let me go," Marcel complained, but Scott wouldn't let him go. He just laughed as he laid on top of him. Marcel's face was deep red, a mix from the cold and from Scott laying on top of him. "I'm not getting up, Marcel," Scott said with a smirk as he moved just to pin Marcel's hands to the ground. Marcel blushed even more. He knew he wasn't going to get out of this. He couldn't move Scott or talk to him out of it, but he was keeping him slightly warm. Marcel just let out a sigh as he looked into Scott's bright blue eyes staring at him with a smile. He was freezing his ass off already, and he knew Scott wouldn't just move over that. He looked to the side as Scott's face started to darken with a blush from what he was doing to Marcel. About 30 minutes passed and they still haven't gotten up from the ground. Marcel let out a sneeze. His face was beet red, and he was probably going to get a cold. He couldn't take it anymore. He looked at Scott, leaning forward as much as he could. Marcel smiled as he kissed Scott's lips, and to Marcel's surprise, he kissed back. "Gotta love me some chocolate." But that was his chance to get away after he pulled back. Marcel ran back to the house and stood at the door. Scott wasn't following him, but he could hear him close behind. Marcel was basically shaking as he grabbed the door handle to open the door. He stripped down to his underwear and put them in his laundry room. He quickly went upstairs to change. He heard the door downstairs open, which meant Scott came inside. He slipped on a pair of PJ pants, and as he was slipping on his shirt, he came into his room. "Sorry if you get a cold, Marcel," Tyler said. "Wait, where did Tyler come from? Is he cucking me right now? He is literally cucking me." Marcel shrugged as he stood there, cold, even though the heater was on in the house. Scott stood up from his bed and felt Marcel's arm and cheek. "God, I didn't know you were that cold, Marcel. You should have said something," Scott said, pulling him into a hug. Marcel held onto Scott's surprisingly warm body for warmth since he wasn't getting any uptime soon. "Why am I surprisingly warm? I have a soul. I'm not cold-hearted. Come on." "Hey, how about we go downstairs, watch some TV, and get you warm," Scott said as he lifted up Marcel's chin. Marcel smiled as he got up from the bed, shaking in his place as he walked down the stairs with Scott, holding his arms as he let out a cough. Scott started to feel really bad for doing that to him. He was probably going to catch a cold from his stupid decision. As they made it downstairs, Scott warmed up the coffee machine and made Marcel a warm cup of coffee as he sat on the couch trying to find something to watch. As Scott poured the warm liquid into a mug, he looked over to Marcel, still shivering. He walked over and handed him his cup and grabbed another blanket. Marcel smiled at him as he slipped in right beside him under the blankets and rested his arm around his shoulder. "Sorry again, Marcel, about the whole thing, you know," Scott said, blushing a tint red. Marcel just frowned as he pecked his cheek. "I don't care, but if I get sick, your sorry ass is going to be my nurse," Marcel replied, making Scott chuckle lightly. Scott leaned and pecked Marcel's lips. "I'll gladly be your nurse," Scott said as he turned his attention back to the TV after making Marcel flustered once more. What is... I can't handle this. I feel like Marcel's the base in the story. Like I'm just a dickhead boyfriend fucking him over. At least I get to be a sexy nurse, you know? That's a plus. But that's it for this video, guys. If you guys liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe down below if you're new. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comment section below. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Come on, let's go.